Hi, I'm Danny DeLong, State Volunteer Lead for AARP Nebraska's Veterans and Military Families Program. November is National Veterans and Military Families Month, a time for AARP Nebraska to honor the service and sacrifice of our 31,000 members who are veterans, their families, and the approximately 125,000 Nebraska veterans and their families. During the month of November, we are bringing in key professionals who will share with us resources available to veterans and their military families. We are hosting this four-part series on veterans resources from our Facebook page on AARP Nebraska. You can catch us live on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Central Time or tune in anytime to watch the recorded interviews. Our interviews begin with today, November 4th. We're going to visit Bellevue University and discuss educational benefits and services for veterans. On November 11th, we'll have an interview with a representative of the Department of Veterans Affairs about the whole health care program of the VA. On Wednesday, November 18th, we will discuss caregiving resources through the Department of Veterans Affairs with Tracy Krogan, who is the lead caregiver representative of the VA out of Omaha. On Wednesday, November 25th, we'll have a conversation about veterans resources with John Hilgert, director of the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs. Our speakers will be providing information about veteran benefits that are important to Nebraska veterans and their families. When you consider applying for these services, we recommend you do your own research by contacting your county veteran service officer or the veterans representative at any educational institution or a representative of the Veterans Administration. Today's session will focus on the educational benefits and services provided to veterans and active duty military students by Bellevue University, a leader among Nebraska's higher education institutions in providing educational services and community services for veterans and active duty military students. Representatives of Bellevue University will inform us about state and federal educational benefits and will present their innovative Military Veteran Service Center, which provides to enrolled veterans, enrolled active duty students, and veterans who live in the community services such as access to VA services, career counseling, mentoring, housing assistance resources, and many other services. Now, you'll be hearing from our four speakers from Bellevue University. They are Stan Hawkins, Assistant Director of the Military Program. Hi, Stan, who will speak to us about educational services. J.R. Richardson, Director of the Military Veteran Service Center and Director of Military Veteran Services. Hi, J.R., who will be speaking to us about the history of the Military Veteran Services Center and the military benefits available to students through the VET Center. Heather Carroll, Manager, hi Heather, Manager of the Military Veteran Services Center, who will be speaking to us about the services provided at the center, and time permitting, you'll see a taped interview with Ashley Rodriguez, a military student and a student worker who provides a firsthand perspective on Bellevue University's military services. We thank each of them for joining us today to share their wisdom and knowledge about military benefits and services available for veterans and active military students attending the university. We'll begin with Stan Hawkins, Assistant Director of the Bellevue University Military Program. Welcome, Stan. Please tell us briefly about your military experience and explain the educational services offered by the university.
Absolutely. Thank you, Danny. Very happy to be here today. Like Danny said, my name's Stan Hawkins. I'm a 20-year retired United States Air Force non-commissioned officer. I served as an electronic intelligence analyst, a psychological operations analyst, and I also worked in information warfare. Was all over the world, Most notably, participated in, was deployed for Iraqi Freedom and Operation Southern Watch as well. So vast military knowledge, and also I was a student and I used some of these programs that we're going to talk about today. So thank you, Danny.
All right, thank you, Stan. It's nice to speak to another NCO. I was an NCO in the Army, and glad to talk with another one. Let's begin with this question: is Bellevue University approved for tuition assistance funding and GI Bill funding?
You know what? That's a great question. I get asked that whenever I'm traveling. And the short answer is yes. Hey, Bellevue University is certified by the Department of Defense to accept military tuition assistance from all branches of service. Additionally, we do participate in the VA Yellow Ribbons program for bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees. These are just other avenues for funding to help our military folks pay for college. I would also like to mention that we do have special lower tuition rates for military members and their families.
Stan, you mentioned the Yellow Ribbon program. Can you describe that program a little bit for us?
You know what? The program is pretty simple, actually. Basically, what it does is help supplement some of the funding that folks would need to be able to go to school. It's one of those things you have to apply for. We have people here that can help any student that is looking to use that program as well.
Great, thank you. Our next question is, what is the university's policy for accepting credits from other colleges?
That's another great question. Hey, too often military students find that their credits don't transfer, or they're told they have to retake classes. Not here at BU. We recognize and we respect those previous educational experiences, and we do accept the Community College of the Air Force associate degree in full. And one of the good things about that is that we also look at the ACE credits for military work experience. We'll accept those. Really, the bottom line is that Bellevue University, we're recognized nationally for the overall transfer student experience. We typically accept all associate degrees in full, which puts students about halfway through their bachelor degree program. Our goal is really simple. We want to help military students complete their education as quickly as possible and with the least amount of expense.
Great. I think you covered the second question I was going to ask about that, about personnel having to take or retake classes they've taken and passed previously. That's a great piece of information for us. We know that active duty military members are an important part of your student body. What happens if an active duty member has to deploy?
Sure. And you know what? I've had this happen to me as well. So one thing that Bellevue University, the faculty and our student coaches are there to help the military students that have to deploy. That's key, because we understand that this is going to put them in a, maybe a little bit of a bind, a little bit of a pickle to be able to finish their degree. They do have that option. Hey, they can continue that education while they're deployed, do it remotely. We know that a lot of places now have great internet. So a lot of times that's not a limitation. That has been a limitation in the past, but really we find that that's not much of a limitation anymore. And you know what, I would like to say, we have folks that are deployed right here close to us at Bellevue University from Offutt Air Force Base, and they go over to England, where they're going to be, that's their duty on station. So they have the opportunity there. When they have their downtime, they're able to complete their online classes as well. So short answer, yes, we love to help our students when they deploy, and we know that also gives them something mentally to focus on other than the situation that they may be in.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great opportunity for continuity, educational continuity, Stan. I appreciate that policy. Finally, I've read that Bellevue University was founded by a veteran and that your current president is a military spouse. Can you verify that information for us?
That's absolutely right. Bellevue University was founded by Bill Brooks. He was a World War II fighter pilot. Hey, I keep this in my office. A little plane here, just to remind me of that. And really what he realized when he came back, that the adult education opportunities really weren't what he expected to be in this area. Really, today, now, you fast forward from 1966, hey, we have 85 different degree programs, and we serve about 15,000 students worldwide. Hey, another thing, 20% of our students are military. They are either active duty, veteran, or military family or spouse. And more than 90% of our students are fully online. That's been a great shift here in the last 15, 20 years with online servicing. I'm really proud to say that we are consistently recognized as one of the nation's top universities for veterans and active duty and family members as well.
Stan, I know I can speak for our members when we say we're really proud to know that Bellevue University, one of Nebraska's higher education institutions, is nationally recognized for its program and the effort it makes for its veterans. And I want to thank you, Stan, for your service and commitment as a veteran. And I also want to thank you for that great explanation of Bellevue's educational services to veterans and active duty military students.
Absolutely. Danny, hey, I would like to add one thing. I didn't answer your question fully. The second part of your question was about Dr. Mary Hawkins. You know what? Yes, she's a military spouse, parent, and grandparent. That's the trifecta for me. So she really understands the needs of our military students. Her personal experiences have really shaped the university the way it is today. I think that we have great leadership here, and she's done a wonderful job. And I'm happy to be a part of that.
Thanks, Stan. I appreciate that clarification. All right. Next, we're going to hear from J.R. Richardson, Director of the Military Veterans Services Center and Directory of the Military Veterans Services for Bellevue University. Welcome, J.R.
Thank you, Danny. It's great to be here with you today.
J.R., let's start by having you tell us a little about your military experience.
Well, mine stretches 25 years. I started out in the Air Force, and I spent almost 7 years as an aircraft mechanic. And then I tell people I served 126 years because the next 18 and a half years of my life, I was a military recruiter. I recruited for 9 years right out of this region, out of the Midwest region, and got familiar with Bellevue University because many of our enlisted members right within our squadron got their commissions while serving and recruiting here at Bellevue. But then I left the United States Air Force at 16 years, and I went into a more specialized recruiting, still active duty all the way through, but I recruited for special operations down in Florida, and that's where I was at during the attack of 9/11. My jobs there were specifically to make sure that those missions, those specific unit had all the resources that they needed to do their missions. I went from there, I went up to a fighter wing at Whiteman Air Force Base, where I took over 3 flying squadrons there in the wing, and all operational due to the war on terror. And then I wrapped up my career out in the East Coast in the largest, or the second largest air wing in the Air Force Reserve. I had 26 squadrons that I was responsible to make sure that they had the resources, including 5 flying squadrons, and 2 of them were very specialized medical evacuation squadrons. So it kept me pretty busy for those 25 years.
What a wonderful background, JR, and having you with your experience at the military, having you there at the University of Bellevue, and especially with your experience at recruiting persons into the military, should be a real asset to Bellevue, and I'm sure it is. Can you talk a little bit about Bellevue University's engagement with military veterans?
Yes, Danny, we've actually we've been on the military base here at Offutt Air Force Base since 1976. We actually were authorized to do education like Stan was talking about all the way back to 1966, but we physically have been on the base providing class instruction to military members and spouses and government employees since 1976. In that relationship, because we do have so many students that Stan had mentioned, we are now working from the center here in transition, making sure that those service members, whether they're attending Bellevue University or not, have resources that prepare them for that next mission, whether that's going to be after 20 years of service or after that first term of service. Our goal for them as a service of veterans is to make sure that they have the tools that they need to be successful in that next mission.
JR, it sounds to me like you're really talking about offering a first-class transition service so that veterans can transition into civilian life. Your students can transition into military life if they decide to do that as part of their career. And I'm guessing that some of that work occurs at the Military Veterans Service Center right there on the Bellevue campus. Can you describe for us the center and why it is unique?
Well, it's unique because as we look at our mantra at the school here, real learning for real life, we decided that the very best way to serve our students is to put them in an atmosphere where they're interacting with service members that have already made that transition. Some of those are very successful business leaders in our community. Others might have had more challenges, anything from homelessness to looking for a job because they were downsized, right-sized, whatever the case may be. So now those veterans from the community are interacting with our current military and those that are just new veterans coming in. So it's a good mix. And when I say a good mix, the oldest veteran that we've served in our center was 103 years old, and he jumped in Normandy. So we do serve individuals from all ages. But the benefit for that, what makes it unique, is our center at 6,000 square feet, you could see the picture there, is in a premier location on the base, on the campus. And that's purposeful because it shows the emphasis that Bellevue places in our military service members. So it's right up on the campus. We are a Purple Heart campus here at Bellevue University. So that service and commitment to us all is well recognized by our leaders and our staff and faculty here at Bellevue. So it's an open center, very much like a USO, and it's surrounded inside around a lounge with services that are all key to the individual during their transition. Or if they're serving here locally, maybe they just want a place where they can learn how to play the guitar, or a place where they can interact with other veterans, or even if they're from another college, come in and study because of the resources that we make available for them. And that's what makes us unique, because you don't see that kind of a setup on most of your colleges and universities.
Yeah, you sure don't. And looks like it's a beautiful facility. I'm gonna be up there to look at it here sometime in the next couple of months. And it seems to me that the conversation I had with Stan and the conversation that I'm having with you and that I know I'm going to have with Heather next, the theme of leadership continues to work its way through your presentations. And I know that Bellevue University has provided and is continuing to provide leadership for a special project in Bellevue, a project for all of Nebraskans. Please tell us about the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Project and the role that Bellevue University has played in the creation and construction of the project.
Well, the project hasn't broke ground yet, but we are playing a significant role, and it is the latest of many projects that our leadership and our faculty and staff members have gotten involved with. Mary Hawkins, President Hawkins, is one of the honorary board members of this project, providing leadership and oversight to its strategies, especially in the area of education, because this memorial park that'll be located up in Papillion will actually be an interactive memorial park honoring those members specifically from the Vietnam War that served from the state of Nebraska. So it is a Nebraska memorial, and it's very exciting to be a part of that project. There are so many features in there to include learning about each specific individual member who served during that time, some of the key elements historically that affected our communities in Nebraska, as well as the nation naturally. There's actually lesson plans available for teachers at different grade levels, and those lesson plans incorporate a lot of the experiences of the Nebraskans from here. So could you imagine learning in school about your grandfather or your Uncle Bill and things of that nature? Because it's bringing the real human element of the service and commitment of Nebraskan citizens, especially during that time period, and folks such as yourself, Danny. So that's I think it's very neat to be part of that and be on the board of that, but also for the school itself to continue that commitment. And again, this is just one of many projects that they have committed to in honoring all of our service members. And it's not about the university, it's about the true acknowledgement of what they bring to our communities.
JR, great description and explanation of the program. And as I said to all of you yesterday when we were visiting briefly about this project, that project that you're working on is personal. I have a fraternity brother from Kearney State College, where I attended school, and he is one of the casualties of Vietnam, Nebraska casualty of the Vietnam War. And it was a thrill to go to the online site for the project and to look through the group of soldiers who lost their lives in Vietnam and find my fraternity brother. It was a very moving experience. So I have a good feel for what you're doing there. All right, JR, thank you for your service and commitment as a veteran. And thank you as well for that great explanation of Bellevue University's commitment to supportive services for veterans and for active duty military students.
Thank you very much, Danny, for visiting with us today.
Okay, thanks, JR. Next, we'll hear from Heather Carroll, manager of the Bellevue University's Military Veterans Service Center, which we've already praised and we know is one of the unique facilities in the country. Heather, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Danny.
Heather, when you and I spoke during my first call to Bellevue University to begin setting up today's program, I was so excited about what you were saying about the Military Service Center. I wanted to jump into my car and drive to BU to see the center right then and there. I was thrilled with the kinds of activities and services that you are offering there. I know our viewers will be impressed, but let's start with your military background.
Danny, I retired at 22 years from the Air National Guard. I started my career as a medic in the Air Force on active duty, spent 10 years on active duty. During that time span, I actually, little tidbit I don't think I told you about, is I toured with Thompson Blue for a year during that time frame as a vocalist and dancer. And then I joined the Air Reserves to try and start my education. Of course, life happens, doesn't always go well, but I spent 6 years in the Air Reserve in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and then I joined the Air National Guard here in Nebraska, which brought me here and got me kind of in the direction of coming to Bellevue University. As I was on active duty orders, I got that drive to want to start my educational process, and I came to Bellevue University here, and I started as an individual seeking the Military Veterans Services Center. So I started as a veteran in need as well. So, and now here I get to be the manager of the facility, feeding that back into the community and helping those in need. So it's really awesome.
Well, thank you for your service, Heather. Please tell us a little bit now specifically about the services offered at the center to enrolled students and to veterans living in the community, which I think is one of the unique aspects of your center.
Absolutely. So I'm just going to start off, we have a beautiful facility here that was in the midst of COVID recently remodeled. So we have a big, huge kitchen now where we can actually serve people when they come in. So we do all kinds of events here in the center, from the Guitars for Vets will be here jamming at any given time, giving lessons to veterans in need. We might have the Vet Express, where there are art classes going on in the evening hours, where veterans come in and receive that service for free, where they are going to learn about the genre of art, not just, doing the craft itself. We have Project Healing Waters, where they can learn to make their own lures and fly fishing rods. We also have the Disabled American Veterans right here on site, where we have got over 8 certified veteran service officers available to our veterans to file disability claims. And they also have a couple of scholarships available to veterans. And they also offer emergency aid in circumstances as well. We also have legal services. We help people get connected to jobs. There's a lot of folks who reach out to this center specifically because they want to hire veterans, and we can start connecting people that way. We help with resume building to help them secure that job. We'll do interview sessions with our veterans, getting them prepped for that interview. We'll help them connect to VA resources here in the near future. We'll have the ability right here on site to get that veteran an ID card to get
Oh, that's great.
medical services. So that's in the running right here and now. One of the other huge things that we're doing right now, we have all of these people coming together: Wounded Warrior Project, Sienna Francis House, Guitars for Vets, and many, many people of the community. And we're currently packing 96 backpacks for the veterans at the Sienna Francis House, which will be given to them on Veterans Day to honor them and their service. And they are packed with snacks and cold weather gear, a nice warm blanket, hat, gloves, toiletries, you name it. It's something that we've been involved with for the last 6 years. This is my 2nd year, and it is the biggest and best process so far with the backpacks. They're full of goodies for these vets, and we're super excited to pass them out. So it's awesome.
Boy, that's exciting. I hope our members and our viewers can provide support for your center to do those kinds of activities for veterans. And I wanted to say, I spoke with JR a little bit earlier this morning, and he brought up something, and I was going to bring it up with you during our part of the conversation. He said, you are occasionally encountering veterans who don't know they're eligible for benefits.
That's right. Yes.
And I just had that happen to me the other day. I had someone say, well, I've never applied for veterans benefits because I never deployed. And I said, what were you saying? And what are you saying? And he said, I never went overseas. And I said, that's not a requirement for veterans. No. It's being a veteran. And so it still kind of amazes me that we have veterans who don't know that services like yours are there to help them apply for benefits that they earned by virtue of being in the military. So I really appreciate the effort you guys make to help veterans qualify for and follow through and receive benefits. Absolutely.
And Danny, that's something we hear a lot as veterans walk in the door. Things like, man, if I knew you were here, I would have been here sooner. And so being able to get this word out to the entire state of Nebraska and beyond is huge, because we don't just help veterans here in the local area. We will help any veteran in need.
Good to know. And we're glad to be a part of telling your story. And one of the things that you do, I know you do, and I want you to talk a little bit with us about, is the transition assistance, helping veterans transition from the military world to the civilian world. It's a really important service.
We always meet the veteran exactly where they're at when they walk in the door. We're going to sit them down. We're going to get them some coffee or a drink or a snack or whatever. And we'll sit down in the conference room, and JR and I will just kind of listen to them. What are your needs? Every veteran has a unique circumstance and a unique requirement as they walk in our door. So oftentimes they may have a whole laundry list of things that they need assistance and help with. So because of all the partnerships that have developed here in this community, because of Bellevue University, because of all of the people that come together collectively, we're able to connect them to whatever resource they need. If we don't have it right now and we learn that it's a need, we're going to go out and try and build that relationship so that we have that service here for the veteran as well. And if we don't have the answer, we're going to know who to go to get that answer because of the multiple partnerships. And that's just, with Wounded Warrior Project and, the Veteran Resource Network, the Vietnam Veterans Project. The list goes on and on and on. We have Boots to Suits. And so we've got somebody who comes in and does resumes. We also have clinical counseling right here on site. We have 5 counselors that volunteer their time and service to help veterans get the mental health services that they need as well. Sometimes there's this interim where they need to get into the VA system and there's that time lapse, but yet their need is right now. So we're going to get that need right now, whatever it looks like. Sometimes we just reorganize their list. Hey, this is the most important, then this is the next. But we meet them, we listen to them, and we engage in what they actually need.
Well, that's wonderful to hear, because as you're right, it can be a while from the time you apply for VA benefits until they're actually available to you. So helping people through that period, sometimes of confusion, sometimes a period of despair. That's a wonderful service that you provide to our veterans. Finally, Heather, I know I could go on all day asking questions about the center, and I know you could go on all day talking about them, but
Absolutely.
No, it's great. I love the enthusiasm. I know our viewers will too. I know we have a brief video of one of your students who received help at the center, Ashley Rodriguez, and could we see that now?
Absolutely.
I'll see you on the other side.
Just to let you know, Ashley came to us in the middle of COVID-19, needing an internship to complete her degree plan and to be able to graduate. And because of her experience here, you're going to hear from her that she is now motivated to start giving back to this community as well. So here's Ashley.
Wonderful.
Hi, my name is Ashley Rodriguez. And when I first arrived at the Military Veterans Service Center in April, I, like so many other veterans, was faced with a challenge that I felt powerless against. The last class that I needed in order to get my business administration degree was an internship. However, COVID struck. I now had 3 young children at home due to school closures, a spouse who was already deployed overseas, and no way to secure an internship to graduate on time. At the MVSC, I was able to sit down with J.R. Richardson and Heather Carroll, and they were able to tell me about the different opportunities and options that are available to veterans like me. I listened to the purpose and the goals that the Military Veterans Service Center had, and they listened to me personally to find out what I needed to succeed. During the closure, I was able to see how the different partnerships still continued to help veterans. I was able to get hands-on experience in a business-like setting to cement all the information that I had learned as a student, and I was able to see this unique culture that was shared by both the veteran staff and the non-military staff at Bellevue University.
Wow, that's the kind of testimony that doesn't quit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one more thing that I really think I need to mention, one of the other services that we have for our students here at Bellevue University is the VA will allow you to do a work study program. In this center, when you walk in the center, you are going to be greeted by either a volunteer or a work study that earns money while they're going to school and focusing on their degree. And what's unique and fantastic about that is these work studies, their education will always come first. So, you know, if they got a paper that needs to be done instead of working, boom, we send them back to go get that paper taken care of. And one of us will step in and work the center for them. So it's just a community that, just like the good old days in the military, you just pick up and you help each other get to where they need to go. So I thought that that was really interesting and awesome to mention that that is another service that we provide here at Bellevue University in the Military Veterans Service Center. And so, Danny, we thank you so much in AARP Nebraska for giving us the opportunity to share this awesomeness at Bellevue Universities and how we focus on post-secondary education services and the community service for veterans and active duty service members in Nebraska.
And Heather, I'm just going to say quickly, thank you for your service and commitment as a veteran and what you're bringing to other veterans during your work at the center. Thank you. And I want to thank all of you and thank Bellevue University and all of you here today, JR, Stan, and Heather, and Ashley. Please give Ashley our thanks. And I want to thank our viewers for watching today's session. If you enjoyed today's session, please like this post and share it on your Facebook page to let others know what you learned. Thank you again, folks. It's been a real pleasure, and I'll be seeing you soon. Thanks.
Thanks,
Danny.
Thanks.